Hello my dears, and welcome again to my Egyptian hip technique explanation. Today we are going to study and learn more of hip technique, and the movement which we are going to learn today actually has no name, but in Russia we call it a cat, so let's call it a cat. So guys, first of all I would like to show you how this movement looks like. Let's go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, or with double accent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So now, my dears, let's go to the explanation of this movement, and the first point which we have to do is to stay in the diagonal. So we are not staying in front here, but we need to move to the diagonal here, almost like to the side, because this is the correct position for our cat movement. So first of all, in the diagonal, let's go, and we will have the steps here. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So please control your body and don't make the movement forward. Make it to the diagonal. Number 2, we have to practice to make our hip up here, up here. Please don't confuse, we are not staying in the front and we are not making our hip inside, but we are making our hip out in the diagonal here. So we are going like this. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So what we have to do, we need to practice first on one place, don't go, but practice like this. Up and up and up and up. I'm working with my hip up in the diagonal here. I'm not pushing my hip inside. So for this, we need to work with our knee. We need to help with our knee to push our hip up in the diagonal. So why I'm talking about the knee? Because from the basic principles of Egyptian technique, we have to remember our rules. So rule number 1 is that we never dance or make our Egyptian hip technique with straight legs. We always have our knees soft, and we always help with our knee to move our hip. This is number 1. Number 2, all of our Egyptian hip technique is coming from the down of our belly, from here. We are not working from the waist, but we work from the down of our belly, because as you remember, all Egyptian technique is coming from the down. And let's remember the third principle of Egyptian hip technique, and it's about our hip bones. We have to work and to move our hip bones to achieve a correct Egyptian technique. So that's why when we start our movement cat, first of all, what we have to remember, it's about our knee. Our knee is not straight. This knee, it's also not straight. It's almost straight. Almost straight, but it's soft, but never completely straight. The second knee is soft, and I'm pushing with my knee back, back, back. After this, I prepare my hip and I start to move my hip up with the help of my knee. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you look carefully, I'm not with my straight legs doing something like this. I'm pushing with my right knee back, helping my right hip going to the diagonal here. Okay guys, now with this hip movement, I have to walk to the sides. But please take care, don't make your hip inside. This is the mistake number 1 when people confuse the cat movement with the other movement. For example, like Suherzaki movement, or maybe just down on the floor. Suherzaki like this, when their hips is front, not to the diagonal, but even in the diagonal you can make mistake and you can make your hip inside, in. But what I need from you is opposite. I need from you the movement out, out, out and out. I don't need inside here. So now, my dears, to understand this hip movement, we need to understand how we are walking to the right and to the left. So first of all, let me show you with my feet. Here, I'm walking like this, step 1 and 2. 1 and 2. If you see, this foot is a little bit up and this foot is down on the floor. So what I have to do, I need to put my foot down on the floor here, and automatically I have to lift my hip up in the diagonal. So please, we have to make this movement like this. 1. You see, it's at the same time. It's not one by one, for example, the leg and the hip, or the hip and the leg. No, 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 don't confuse. So this is the mistake number 2. If you are not working with your leg and your hip at the same time automatically. Automatic. 1 and 1. 1. So you have to practice first like this. 1, go back. 1, go back. 1, go back. 1, go back. And don't forget about the first mistake. Don't put your hip inside like this. In, 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 in. You see, this is a totally different movement. It's a totally different technique. This movement exists, but it's not the cat movement. Okay, guys, considering these mistakes, let's try to walk here automatically. So as soon as your foot goes down on the floor, your hip goes up. 1, go down. 1, go down. Let's check our position of our hips. Let's move to the diagonal. Don't stay like this, diagonal. And let's try to make the same automatic movement here. Lift your hip up to the diagonal. And 1, go down soft. 1, go down soft. So guys, the mistake will be if you are not working automatically with your hips. If you are moving something like this, first the leg, and after this the hip, leg, and only after this the hip, or on the opposite, first you push your hip, and then you put your leg down. You push your hip and you make your leg down. Push, go down. Push, go down. So this is not correct way to make this movement. Please take care and make this movement automatic. 1, down, 1, down, 1, down, 1, down. And please don't jump with your head, because this movement, it's not about jumping here. It's about lifting your hip and working with your knee. Okay, guys, let's go on and let's take the variety of this hip movement, because we will have a lot of different varieties with layers also and with accents of this cat movement. So now we are making the other one. So we were making just up and 1 time down. Now I need you to make double hip drop, but now in a soft way. Up, automatic movement. After this, you make 1 accent and 2nd accent. Now change, check yourself in the diagonal, and 1 up, down, down. So what we have to do? First of all, we need to understand about our leg. Our leg is going gradually from here to here, from here to here. So let's check. 3, 4. 1. Your hip goes down and your leg starts to move and it stays in the middle. With the 2nd hip drop, your leg arrives to your 2nd leg. You check yourself here and do the same. 1. You make the 1st hip drop, your leg is gradually going here. Gradually going here and gradually going here. One more time. 1 in the middle, final point. 1 in the middle, final point. So guys, let's check again about our knee movement. Don't forget about your knees. This knee, it's not straight. Pay attention. And this knee is working back, 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 back to make a good hip accent. 1, down, down. 1, down, down. 1, down, down. 1, down, down. You see, I'm pushing my knee back. Hip, hip accent. The leg arrives gradually. So the mistake is going to be if you leave your leg here. Please pay attention. And 1, 2, 3. Your leg. 1, 2, 3. Your leg. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You see, I'm not moving my leg gradually. And it's going to look something weird and not correct. So let's practice one more time. 3, 4. 1, gradually, gradually. 1, middle, the end. 1, middle, the end. 1, middle, the end. So my dears, this movement we were making in a soft way, without accent. We were making it very soft and gentle. So now we need to study and learn how to make our cat movement with accent. So what will we need? Of course, first of all, it's about our knee. So we need our muscles around our knees very strong. So if you have weak muscles here, like this, your movement is never going to be clear and with accent. So that's why, first of all, what we have to do is to practice to work with our knees in a strong way. We have to learn to push your knee back in a clear way. We need to have our muscles around our knees very strong. And you contract your muscles when you push your knee back. Push and contract your muscles here. Release, relax. Push, relax. Push, control your muscles. Relax, push, contract your muscles around your knees. And relax. So you have to practice like this with your both knees, but please pay attention and don't damage your knees. Don't make your knees completely straight. So this is very, very dangerous for our knees and for our joints. So please never make your knee completely straight until the end. You have to leave maybe 1 centimeter in the back to protect your joints and your knees. Even though you push back very strong, but you see, I never push back until the end like this. Protect your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now the second point in our accented movements is going to be muscle contraction for modern Egyptian hip technique. So what is muscle contraction? Please, let's remember from the basic principles of Egyptian hip technique, it's about our muscles in your hip here and under your hip here. So besides the muscles around our knees, we need to contract also our muscle here. So as soon as you push your knee back, you move your hip up in the diagonal. You contract your muscles here. And don't forget to contract your muscles also here. 1, contract everything, release, relax. Contract everything, release, relax. Contract, relax, contract, and relax. So now, guys, what we have to do? We need to make the same movements with the hips like before, but we need to contract our muscles. We need to learn to do like this and to practice. So the first one is going to be to the side, just 1 time accent and 1 hip drop in a soft way. 1 hip accent and hip drop change. Check yourself in the diagonal. 1 soft, 1 soft. So what I'm doing, I'm contracting my muscle here, and when I make my hip down, I release. Contraction, release. Contraction, release. Contraction, work with your knee. contraction, release. Now we have to do the same stuff, but with our double hip accent, down. So let's check again. Check yourself in the diagonal. And we are going like this. Muscle contraction. Here, your leg is gradually going in the middle. You contract your hip here. When you are making your hip down, muscle contraction is here. Down, muscle contraction is here. So you have 3 muscle contractions when you make this movement. Check yourself in the diagonal. Let's go. And muscle contraction, release, track, muscle contraction. Your leg is in the middle. Muscle contraction, release. Doom, rack, rack. Doom, tack, muscle contraction is here in this side. And doom, rack, rack. Also, muscle contraction is here. So now, guys, we have to understand one more very, very important point in this hip technique. It's about working with just one joint and one hip. So please, we are not working with both of our hips. We are dividing our body into 2 parts. We are separating our joints. I will work just with one joint here and with one joint here. I'm not working with both of my hips like this. Please pay attention. Look, this is with 2 hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You see, I'm not dividing my body. I'm working like with the whole square of my hips, but this is not correct. We need to separate our joints. And I'm going to work just with one joint, not with 2 hips like this. This is 2 hips. Up, 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 up. Only one joint, one knee, one joint. Feel your joint inside and practice just with one hip. This hip is not moving. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So please, when we do this technique, the basic one, we have to divide our body and push just one joint. As soon as you make this hip accent with your right joint, you go down, down, and you contract your muscles. So it's all of the rules are inside one movement. We are working with our hip bones. This is the 3rd principle of Egyptian hip technique. We are working with our hip bones, just one joint. 1, down, 1, down, 1, down, 1. Now, accents, 2 accents down, accent down, down, accent down, down, rack, tack, tack, rack, tack, tack. So guys, what is the main reason for accented movements? As you know, first we always practice our hip technique in a soft way, because first we need to understand how we make this movement, where our hips are going, where our legs are going, right? So we work in a soft way, but after this we need to make accents with muscle contraction. Why? Because only with muscle contraction you can have a very, very clear, accented and super clear technique. So that's why we also need to study and practice how to do it with our muscle contraction. My dears, I would like to pay your attention to the next mistake, because this is really important to delete this mistake and to make this hip technique correctly. So first of all, we have to stay again in the diagonal, and please pay attention when I make my foot down on the floor. I'm not making it from heels here, from up to my heels. I'm not making it like this, but I put my foot directly down on the floor. So it's not going from here. It's just like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So please pay attention, because if you are making from here, the movement is going to look like this. 1, 1, 1, 1. And you will not be able to make this hip technique and to lift your hip up in the diagonal. So that's why when you walk, you have to put your foot directly down on the floor. So one more time, please look with the mistake. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the correct variant, putting your foot down on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, and 8. And don't forget to work with your hip bones, knees, muscle contraction here, and muscle contraction here. And my dears, the next mistake which I'm going to pay your attention to, it's about our straight legs. You remember that in Egyptian technique we never do our legs completely straight, so that's why this cat movement can't be done with straight legs. Please look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Or with double accent, straight legs. Look. 1 and 1 and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You see, my legs are straight and my knees are not helping my hip bones move in the correct way. And one more mistake, it's when people are trying to push their hip too much to the side and they are going to damage their hip joint. So when you are making your hip accents down, down, please pay attention. You must not go to the side here. Please don't damage your hip joint. You have to take care. You have to control your body. Your hips have to be not like this, but inside. These muscles have to be strong. You need to control your pelvis. So don't make your pelvis out like this, not to damage your spine and your joints, and also don't push here. Don't push here. Don't sit down. Don't sit down. Just control your body. 1, down, down. You see, I'm not pushing here. I'm making just down, down, and I contract my hip muscle here. The same situation is here. Tuck, down, down, control your muscles and don't do something like this. This is really dangerous for your hip joints. Okay guys, now let's see again how to make this movement correctly. And again, please check yourself in the diagonal. And we are going here. 1, track, track, 1, track, track, 1, track, track, accent, 1, track, track. Please pay attention. One more small but super important detail is that we need to help also with this knee when I'm making my 2 hip drops. My leg here, it's not straight. It's moving like this. Please pay attention. It's also the rule of Egyptian hip technique. You remember, yes, that we have to help with our knee to make our hip movements. So as soon as my right hip is going 2 times down, I have to push 2 times with my left knee. So this hip is working, but the opposite knee is helping. So when I make this track, track, you see, I'm pushing my knee back. And for example, look the mistake. If my knee is straight, it's going to be like this. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. But what I'm doing is this. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So now let's check. Look, if you are making the mistake and you are making this leg straight, the movement is going to look like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But in a correct way, pay your attention. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, track, track. 1, track, track. So I'm helping with my knee, and please don't forget about this important point. Okay, my dears, let's make some practice for this movement, and we are going to start with the soft one, because first of all, always we need to start with soft movements. So please remember, check your hips in the diagonal, make your legs not straight, and we are walking in a soft way. Soft, down, soft, soft, down, soft, and again, soft, down, soft, soft, down, soft. 4 times. Now we have to do it with double accent. Up, soft, soft, up, soft, soft, up, soft, soft, up, soft, soft. And we are going to combine it and make it with the music. Let's go. Soft, soft. Let's do it in a soft way. Again, check yourself in the diagonal. And now, 1, 2, 3. Up, down, down. 1, 2, 3. Now one more time, let's go. Soft, soft, help with your knee, help with your knee, push your hips, up, down, down. Your leg is going gradually middle and final, here. And now we are going to make the same combination, but not in a soft way, but with accents. So let's go, contract your muscle here and here. 1 and 2. 3 and 4, push with your knee, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now with double hip accent, 1, track, track, 1, muscle contraction, tack, tack, here muscle contraction, 1, tack, tack, 1, tack, tack. Accent, accent, please contract your muscle, hip muscle. And double accent. Do, rack, rack. Clear hip technique. Clear with muscle contraction. More. 1, 2. Check yourself in the diagonal. Diagonal. And double. 1, track, track. 1, track, track. 1. Down, down. 1, down, down. Okay, guys, this was the basic hip technique for our cat movement, and now we have to go on and to practice more complicated and professional technique, and we are going to make it with layers, and of course it's going to be with shimmy. So what we have to do, first of all, of course, we start with our basic shimmy, with our basic Egyptian shimmy, and I have to work with both of my hips equally, up and down, not intentionally like this, but just relax your hip bones, work with your knees and thighs and hip bones inside, up and down, up and down, up and down, relax, not one line in your hips, not one line, but relaxed hip bones inside. Now we need to check ourselves in the diagonal again, and we are going to make soft accent up. Now what I have to do is to make shimmy down, shimmy down. So what I have to do, of course, first of all, we start with our basic one. After this, we stay like this, and we need to practice like this with our leg in the back and working with our both hips up and down. So this kind of practice you can find in one of my educational videos about Egyptian shimmy. So now what we have to do, my leg needs to travel from here to here. That's why my shimmy needs to continue from here to here. We make our hips up and down, and our leg is traveling from here to here. What we have to do, we need to practice also like this. Put your foot with your heel up and make your practice up and down like this. Here, like this, here, like this. And let's practice with traveling. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. So guys, like this, you have to practice many times, because you need to reach a very clear hip technique and very clear level of hip technique. So that's why you need to practice with your shimmy first like this. The same as you have to practice gradually. First, just with your hip up. After this, just with your shimmy on one spot. Only after this you can combine both of these movements together and have this hip technique. One shimmy down, one shimmy down, one shimmy down, one shimmy down. Now we need to practice and to make the same movement but with our accented hip movement. So let's contract it here like before and push here, contract our muscles. One, and relax with your Egyptian shimmy down. Push up, contract your muscle and relax here. Change, check yourself in the diagonal and tack, contract. Egyptian shimmy here. One, your leg is gradually going from the middle to the final point. Now we are going to take the opposite movement and we are going to make our Egyptian shimmy, but not down, but on the opposite up. So first movement is going to be Egyptian shimmy with our hip up in the diagonal. So first what you have to do, like this, push up and back in the diagonal. So to study and to learn Egyptian shimmy in this way, you have to practice like this. You have to put your leg in the back and start your shimmy here, here. Relax your hip bones, work with both of your hip bones, work always with two knees, two legs, two thighs, and two hip bones. Don't work just with one leg or here with one leg. This is not a correct way. You have to work in any hip technique, in any variety of hip movements. You have always to work with both of your hips. One, go back, one, go back, one, go back, one, go back. So the first movement is going to be with shimmy. Please don't forget about your foot. Just down on the floor. 1, 2, 1, 2, change. Here, shimmy, Egyptian shimmy. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now let's combine these movements together and we're going to make a kind of combination. So first we are walking to this side with simple hip technique. 1, 2, soft, 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 1, soft, 1, 1 and 1. Now we need to make with our Egyptian shimmy 1, down with shimmy, 1, down, soft, down with shimmy, soft, down with shimmy. Now we check ourselves in the diagonal again and we are making the opposite. Shimmy first, shimmy, soft down, shimmy, soft down, shimmy, soft down, shimmy, soft down. Soft, soft, check yourself in the diagonal, work with your knee. Now with shimmy, shimmy, soft, shimmy down, 1, shimmy, 1, shimmy. Now shimmy, down, shimmy, down, shimmy, down, shimmy, and again, soft, practice, check yourself in the diagonal, push back with your knee. Now 1, shimmy, 1, shimmy, 1, shimmy, and on the opposite, shimmy, down, shimmy, down, down, shimmy, down. Soft, soft, check yourself in the diagonal, work with your knee. Now with shimmy, shimmy, soft, shimmy down, 1, shimmy, 1, shimmy. Now shimmy, down, shimmy, down, shimmy, down, shimmy, and again, soft, practice, check yourself in the diagonal. Push back with your knee. Now, one, shimmy, one, shimmy, one, shimmy. And on the opposite, shimmy, down, down, shimmy, down. Okay, my dears, let's go on and let's make the other variety of this cat movement. And what we are going to do is to walk to the sides, to the right and to the left. So what I need from you, first we will make our legs with the cross here and cross here, because I'm going to make my cat with the cross and traveling in the stage to the right and to the left. So we are starting with the soft movement first. One, cross, one, here, and one, cross, one, here. So now we are going to make the same movement but with our muscle contraction. Don't forget about the knee and about contracting your muscle here. One and one, one and one. So we are making it down on the floor. This is variety number one, and the second variety is going to be around the circle. We are going to make just a small circle around ourselves and walk with our cat. Ready? 3, 4. One soft, one and one. Here, back, push your hips, back. Let's make it one more time. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. This was the soft variant. Now we have to make clear hip technique with muscle contraction. Are you ready? 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Push again and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Please pay attention and don't forget that I'm pushing back. I'm not making my hip inside, otherwise it's going to be something like this or something like Suher-Zaki movement, soft or accented. Don't forget, we are pushing back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So now we have to make it a little bit more complicated, and we are going up on our toes, lifting our heels, because for Oriental we need to be more straight, more controlled and elegant. So we are going a little bit up, not too much, just a little bit up. And I'm going to make the same hip movements, cross here, and around the circle. Let's make it in a soft way first. Let's go up, and we're going with the cross. 1, cross, 2, 1, cross, 2, 1, cross, 2, 1, cross, 2. So for this movement you have to practice. It's a little bit difficult to stay up, so that's why first of all you have to practice always down and always starting with soft hip technique. After this you practice down but with your muscles contracted, and only after this you are going up on your toes. Now let's go up and make this movement around the circle. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, soft. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Now let's make this movement in a contracted way with our muscle contraction. Let's go up and tuck, cross, tuck, tuck, cross, tuck. Now let's go around the circle. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Clear hips. 1, 2 muscle contraction, 3 and 4. Let's go. Soft, cross, soft. Soft, cross, soft. Cross here. Soft. Now accent. Accent. Cross. Accent here. Accent. Cross. Accent. Now faster. 1, cross, 1. 1, cross, 1. Now let's go around the circle. 1, soft. 1, soft. 1, soft. 1. Let's go other side. Up, 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 and faster. 1, soft. 1, soft, soft. Now with accent, let's go. Accent, accent, accent. Now let's go up on our toes. Up, up, cross, with accent here. Accent, cross, accent, cross. Now let's go here. Up on your toes with accent. One more time. Tak, tak, and. My dears, we have arrived to the final, and we are going to combine all of these movements and make a kind of a combination. So we are going to start with the basic movement, and I'm going to check myself in the diagonal again. Let's start with the basic one. Our heels are down on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. After this, accented with muscle contraction. Tak. Tak, push with your knee, here. Now I'm going up on my heels, and we are going around the circle with our accented cat movement with muscle contraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, here. 1, 2, 3, 4. After this, I'm going down and I'm making the basic Hagala number 1 movement. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the explanation of this Hagala movement in a soft and accented variant you can find in one of my educational videos. Now we are going this side again in the diagonal. We are going with our soft basic movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. After this, I'm going to make my hip accent with double accent, hip accent with muscle contraction, and double accent. Now guys, I'm going again to this side, and we are going to make accented hip movement and shimmy here, accent, muscle contraction, shimmy here, accent, muscle contraction, accent, muscle contraction. Now guys, after this movement, I'm walking here, I'm going up again, and I'm going to make my cat with the cross, which I explained to you before. So we are going like this. 1, cross, 1, 1, cross, 1. After this, I go down, and with the left hip, I'm going with my Hagala. 1, soft, slow, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And here our combination is finished. Thank you so much for studying with me. I appreciate it and I'm so happy. I hope you got some useful information for your future practice and that you enjoyed a lot. And I will see all of you in my next educational videos.